Hello, my name is Jerry Rodas, and this is my artwork presentation for the semester. The first art piece that I did for the first week was this self portrait of me. In the background, you can see a bunch of shrimp and a bunch of plants and a piece of choya wood. This is to represent my love for the aquarium hobby. I have about 4 tanks on me, and as for the painting itself, I I use my experience as an acrylic artist to use the oil pastels as I would with acrylic. This is kind of my first time using oil pastels seriously. I think I did pretty decent. I never had like practice with oil pastels. I think there's a few mistakes here and there with proportions, but overall, I think for my first time using pastels as I did using acrylic, I think it's fine. For the color wheel, my hands were very shaky. There is no consistent line. I was very confused with the measurements. The measurements kind of screwed me over on a lot of this. Actually, a lot of my artwork, the proportions are not very good. I don't know why my hands are very shaking, but I think the color wheel turned out fine. Um, I used too much green on the plate, so I had to use as much green as possible. So like the screen portion of this color wheel, there's a lot of green because I needed to use as much green as possible because I accidentally poured too much green onto the plate. And overall, I think this could have been better. Probably my favorite one so far would be this one of the gentleman Lorikeet. The original image is on the left, while the one that I try to make is on the right. Um, I think I should have probably done something different to make it unique. Maybe I could have just replaced the head with that of a budgie or something. Maybe, but overall, I think I liked the original so much that I just wanted to like recreate it. I wanted to see if my skills were enough with tempera. Yeah, I wanted to see if the tempera was able to create something similar to it. I think there's just a bunch of colors missing that the tempera is not able to make. I had to use acrylic just to get somewhat close to what the original was. I think the background is a little darker than the original. A lot of the proportions are just kind of misaligned, I guess. I think the hands were the hardest part. Yeah, no, not think. No, I know the hands are the hardest part of this, at least for both proportion and also in shading. I try to get them as close as possible, but like with tempera, it's not that great. I try to get the clothing right, but the tempera is not very good at layering layering paint. So like parts here, if I look closely, they don't look good at all. Just parts of it is just wrong compared to the original. But if I didn't have the original on me, I think this would look decent on its own. Here's my object of desire. I decided to build a beta fish out of cardboard and mantle it on the wall. Sorry for if some of the pictures kind of look blurry. It was people were bothering me about it. Um, I think I like this a lot. I think I should have used a bigger, and not bigger. I should have used a more stable cardboard piece because this piece here is kind of bending like a book. I think I mean, for the time I had to build this And to do the sketchbooks, I think I did pretty well. I think this is probably my favorite, one of my favorite pieces, of, other than the scale painting. I made a beta fish because I love beta fish. I have an entire aquarium filled with like 10 different beta fish, and I just really like them. I just like their coloring. I just like everything about them. Their nature of being fighting fish and all that. And then I really wanted to see if I can mantle it on my wall like what I try to do here. But I think I did pretty good when it comes to building something like this. The paper cutting project was not my best one. I think it's a bit too messy. I wanted to capture something. Wanted to capture that of Guatemalan culture. I wanted to use three different things. The clouds here were supposed to represent the highlands of Guatemala. The highlands are important, very important to like their history and as well as where the current Mayan are. This here is supposed to be an orchid known as the Monja Blanca. Monja Blanca. Um, they're the national flower of Guatemala, so I wanted to reference them here a little bit. These are just its leaves and just supposed to be like a tropically type of setting to represent what Guatemala is. The paper here, the paper I use watercolor. I painted watercolor all over on a sheet of paper, and then cut the sheet of paper and glued it all together. I really like the effect that the watercolor made. It got me colors that I wouldn't have gotten if I used like normal construction paper. I took an inspiration of one of the videos that our professor gave us, and I really liked the watercolor effect of it, especially for the quetzal. If I would have done something different, I think I would have grabbed like a bigger sheet of paper to do the clouds because the paper I had was very small. It didn't fit the entire page, and the kids and everything about it. It's just kind of messy. I didn't know where to place things to make it feel complete. I think this is my weakest one. And here's my sketchbooks that I made in the middle of our other assignments. Um, because I had other classes to do, and I also had to like do the projects for our class. And some of them kind of their quality is completely random. These roses were on a table next to the TV, and I placed them on next to the wall on a separate table, and and I just wanted to see if I can paint roses with using tempera. I think this was the first time using tempera because I wanted to see what it felt like to use these. I thought there was like some sort of difference with the tempera, but no, I think it's just a harder version of acrylic. Here, this was a piece of my aquarium. Before my aquarium grew like all lush and green, my shrimp tank was just this piece of wood with a bit of a plant on in the middle, called what's it called? Hygrophila pinnatifada. It was a big piece of hygrophila just growing out of the wood, and I thought this looked good because the hygrophila was kind of an orange red color, and then everything else in the aquarium was green. In the same aquarium on towards the right, no, left towards the left, there was the bamboo shrimp was like out of its cave, and I wanted to see if I can sketch it out and try to use like line and all that and some shading to capture the bamboo shrimp that's just out of its hiding hole. Here, I think this one's my favorite. I went to my living room tank and I saw that the shrimp was on top of the wood in my aquarium, and because my aquarium was all green and the Hygrophila pinnitifada was also green, I decided to sketch out the shrimp before it like started to dart before it darted off. I sketched out the shrimp before it left, and then I just proceeded to just draw everything, and then draw the shrimp last because he's already gone by the time by the time I finish. Here is my personal computer and what it looked like. I I built this computer on my own. I saw a listing for for a casing that had an infinite mirror in it. This is supposed to be an infinite mirror. It's not hollow or anything. And I really liked the colors of it. I liked what I built for my PC. This is what I use right now for this recording. What I use for my calls and everything. I do not have a camera. That's why I don't have like my face on here. My computer didn't come with a camera. I didn't buy one. It doesn't come with a speaker either, but like the monitor came with one. Sorry. And here it's supposed to be one of my vampire crabs in my other tank. In my paludarium, I have a colony of vampire crabs, and I decided to sketch one of them out on my hand. It was quick, and I was surprised that the vampire crab did not run away from my hand when I had it holding there. It was just kind of sitting there, like pinching my hand. My third sketchbook, I decided to paint my cat. One of my cats. This one's name. My sister named it Lasagna. I wanted to name it Stimpy, but this one's my cat, and I wanted to see if I can draw my cat better than I used to do. I drew my cats before, but they never really looked decent, I guess. But for this one, I decided to draw my cat as well as he was on my bed. And here, this is the vampire crab enclosure, and these are lava rocks, a bit of moss, the filter, and the flowing water. And I wanted to like my idea was to make something out of flow out of the. I was thinking of the principles, elements of design, and I was thinking, how do I convey flow? And I thought, oh, my filter can convey flow. So I decided to draw my filter. Outside, I have a goldfish tank with at least like five goldfish. Originally, I started with two. I had a female and I had a male. This one here is the big male, while these ones here are like are the babies of the female and the male. And it looks like this because the tank is kind of murky. It's just kind of murky. Kind of the algae kind of filled the everything about the tank. So I just kind of had like a top down view. This one was this one was kind of quick. Mm. My fourth sketchbook, I decided to go into my kitchen. I saw this plate of bread under under this bread jar, I think, or a cookie jar. I forgot what these are called, but I saw it. I thought, you know what, I can probably do something with this, and I did. I just painted, and I did I paint. Yeah, I used the tempera paint to create this. I think I liked how the little jar turned out. It looked exactly like the jar in the kitchen. Everything else is kind of like disproportioned. The bread's kind of decent. Here, it's my main aquarium again with all the betas, and I just decided to draw. I tried to see if I can do something with pattern somewhere. I was thinking of pattern, and I looked at the aquarium floor, and I saw all the little bits of what's the plant called? Polystemma helferi, and the Polystemma helferi, or known as Dr. Seuss plant, they just kind of like have little frilly leaves on the bottom. They're like a grass type of plant, and I just kind of painted the Polystemon and a bit of the Ludwigia. Here is my shrimp aquarium, and on that day, I was so excited to see that there were flowers all over these plants. They're called redwood floaters, and these guys stay on top of the tank, and they just kind of float there, and they have their little roots on the bottom. So you'll see them in the tanks, just sucking nutrients. The shrimp like to graze on these plants, but what makes them special is that sometimes they don't make flowers. They don't make flowers. My lights aren't strong enough to create flowers. I think they're strong enough to turn them red. Mine's aren't red, but like I guess my aquarium was strong enough to create these flowers, which are like white flowers that I saw, and I was just really happy that I was able to create these white flowers that are like come in a once in a blue moon kind of thing. Here are my fifth and last sketchbooks. Here is the female the female goldfish that's in my tank. I drew her while she was grazing on top of the tank, and she got herself stuck. I just kind of kept her up there for a bit so I could just paint her before she like went down into the water. Here is on the table. I had my mother had a bunch of flowers in the basket. I tried to paint the flowers. I didn't have time. And here is a basket of pine cones, and my other cat, my sister's cat by the name of Mile. He is very disproportionate. I didn't. Yeah, I think you can tell which one I had more time to do, while the other ones are kind of like very quick, especially when I had to like do other projects as well at the time I was making this. But overall, I think my sketchbook was pretty decent. I was mostly just experimenting with the mediums I had and seeing how well can I do stuff. So here's my how do you say, here's um my my lesson plan. I think this was the one. I think this was the only one I think was pretty decent. I guess. Of course, the professor said it was highly specific, but I mean, I've done this project before, but like instead of being specifically Guatemala, it was Day of the Dead themed, and I had to like bring a picture of a dead person into the class, and I did. I brought another cat, the dead picture of a cat, not an actual dead cat, but like I brought the picture of a cat I had. His name his name was Maya. That's where that's where this cat got its name, because my sister wanted loved that other cat very much, and it was also a black cat. But yeah, I wanted to I wanted to do something similar to what my professor did. Not my professor, I mean my teacher did from high school, and he made us write what the what the what the cemetery was for, and he also made us build something out of it, and made us bring food and other things like a little potluck for each other. But like for this one, I kind of just decided, you know what, I'll just build like graves, something similar to this. This is like a little miniature of one. I'm not expecting them to make the walls or the dirt, the valley or anything. I'm just expecting them to create like a miniature version of one of these graves onto here. I'll create the little land section of it, or they'll just create the little cemetery houses, something like this, and they'll have like a little picture here if they want. If they have a little picture they want to put it here, or if they want to like put in like some smaller decorations, they can. They don't need to. They just need the grave, and that's pretty much it. Here are the materials they need from the examples of the cemeteries. Like they can just use their phone or like a piece of paper, or like they can just ask me. A cardboard, paint, glue, tissue paper, string, clay, pipette, paper mache, cardboard magazine, construction paper, projector. I mean, I'm bringing that one. But like, if there's any material that they're missing, I'll be the one to like bring it. There'll probably more materials here. I know there's going to be more materials. I've seen like miniatures have like a lot of other stuff for them. Like the whole hobby has so many types of miniatures that are like they're too. It's too long to list them here, and I can't think of them all. The process of it, I'm thinking of a regular LAUSD time being like 45 minutes. I got 10 minutes to explain what they are, 12 minutes to show videos, 20 minutes to create the graves. I'm not expecting to be big, I guess. I think I should probably change how big they should be, and 5 minutes to explain what their graves are, and maybe even bring the photos in. Here are the learning objectives. I'm just expecting to create the cemeteries. I'm expecting them to write about what who the cemeteries are for. I'm not expecting them to bring a photo. I'm just expecting who is it for. Maybe they'll paint the family member onto the grave. Maybe not. They'll use a minimum of four different decorated pieces and two or more colors. I'm thinking the grave should be like the size of a piece of paper, or like smaller than a piece of paper. Probably I should probably make this smaller or not to go in line with actual miniatures. It depends on how much space I have for this land section that I'm gonna create, and how much space 30 kids will have. Oh man, I don't know what happened here. Let me just fix this. This was supposed to be the rubric. If I Yeah, this is the rubric. I'm trying to grade for the colors, the decorations, the size, and also the written portion of it. It's not that hard. At least I'm trying to not make it hard. I'm not trying to make it highly specific either. I've done this before. I know how they did it, but I think this could be fun. I think this sort of project can be fun, and I think that's pretty much it. That is my presentation. I really like this semester. I really like this class. I think the professor was really funny and with some explanations and how she laid on the information to us for our lesson plans. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Sorry if I'm stuttering and had like some technical difficulties. I don't I don't really make slideshows like these. Sorry.